Welcome to Prague. Do not come in December. Here we go, Prosecco #1. It may not have been our brightest idea to do an unlimited Prosecco tour before getting up at 4 a.m. to get a train to Prague, but here we are. We took the 5:30 a.m. train from Budapest to Prague to spend the weekend there with our friends. We traveled in style in first class, which was comfortable and nice for the 7-hour journey. They have waiters coming to take your order if you want to have breakfast on board or try some of the Czech delicacies already. The food on the train was good and affordable. We also got free water to wash down our friend's Balinka. We arrived in Prague around midday and headed straight for lunch at Deminka. We passed some time here until we could check into our apartment for 7 people. Book early if you plan on going to Prague in December. We have made it to Prague for Christmas time, and so have millions of other people. We are visiting Prague just for a few days with some friend of ours. We took the train here from Budapest, and it is so full of people. To get to the castle from where we were staying, we downloaded the public transportation app. However, you can pay on board of the iconic trams by card as well. The stops are indicated by these, and the seats on the tram were heated. It's almost impossible to take the tram in Prague and not enjoy the sights along the way. We made our way to the Malostranské stop, from where we walked up to the castle. And we were not the only ones. At midday, it was swarmed by people. If you want to visit the old royal palace, the Basilica, the Golden Lane, and the cathedral, you will pay around €18.50 for the combined ticket. The tower of the cathedral is a separate thing. Make sure to start your day early if you want to do this, because the lines to enter at each place were humongous. We'll be back to see them another time. We started by taking the tram all the way up to the castle, and now we will make our way down into the old town. While walking down, we came across a lot of absinthe, which is the strongest alcoholic spirit with alleged hallucinogenic effects. Artists back in the day used to love it. It's a popular touristy drink in Prague as well. We made it to the river banks, where we were greeted by one of Prague's most famous inhabitants, the river rat. These big rodents live on the islands in the river and love to bribe tourists for a delicious snack. They look so cute. We had some pretty good views of the Charles Bridge from here as well. Next up, we had to see Piss, the sculpture and fountain by Czech artist David Cerný. It's installed just outside of the Franz Kafka Museum. Here you can grab the most famous gingerbread cookies right next to the statue instead of waiting in line on the side of the streets. Close to it, another line had formed. People were waiting for the light to turn green so they could go through the smallest street in Prague. Once again, the line here was massive. And what for? Prague has a little Venice where they offer boat tours as well, and there is a small Christmas market on this side of the river. You can also hop on a river cruise from here to admire the city from the Moldau River. It's lovely at night when the lights are turned on as well. Then, the time had come to conquer the crowds on the Charles Bridge, the landmark of Prague. It is guarded by 30 statues and sculptures of saints. They represent the great personalities of European and global history. Each somehow changed the world for the better, or so they say. Every day in December around 4 p.m., the 46 authentic gas lamps are turned on one by one by the lamplighter dressed in an authentic 19th century Prague gasworks uniform. I wasn't brave enough though to face the crowd of people that witness this every day. Finally, we made it to the old town. The architecture here is phenomenal. The food, very hit and miss. The Prague astronomical clock is a medieval astronomical clock attached to the old town hall. The clock has three main parts: the astronomical dial representing the position of the sun and the moon in the sky, a calendral dial with medallions representing the months, and statues of Catholic saints on either side of the clock. Each hour you can witness the moving apostle figures and other sculptures with the skeleton that represent death striking the time.
Oh yeah, the skull is ringing the bell.
According to local legend, the city will suffer if the clock is neglected, which is why its good operation has been maintained for centuries. I recommend visiting the Clementinum Baroque library, and you also get a behind-the-scenes view of the astronomical tower. Once again, to see the clock hit the hour, the herd of people was enormous. Right next to the clock is the main square of the city, which houses one of the busiest Christmas markets in town, or potentially even Europe. The paprika sausage was amazing.
Oh!
It was just a quick snack for us to make it to dinner time. The food on this market is all so tempting, but often quite overpriced. These filled dumplings, though, looked amazing. We passed by some absinthe bars, but decided to go for beers instead, keeping it safe. As a Belgian, I was very upset by how they pour the beer in Prague. I asked for half a liter beer, not half a beer. We had reserved a table at U Pravdu. Here, the local dishes blew us away. The garlic soup in the bread and the main courses were phenomenal. The next day we went for a stroll along some popular art installations. First up, Lucerna Palace for the king on the upside-down horse in front of the Art Nouveau cinema. The Slight Uncertainty man and lady were next, followed by the Franz Kafka rotating head. Then finally we passed under the man hanging out before making our way to the Powder Tower. It is one of the original city gates and was used for centuries as the beginning of the royal route for Czech monarchs leading to Prague Castle. If you want to visit the Christmas markets but want to avoid the big crowds on the main square, then you can go to one of the other markets in the city as well, like the Vatslav Square with an ice rink, the small Tylovo Square, or the market in front of the Basilica of St. Ludmila. Then finally, a dinner you can't miss out on was the Parašutist restaurant near the dancing house. Food here is affordable, traditional, absolutely delicious, and the portions are massive. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see the Mexico videos coming up and a trip to Budapest and lots more. And then I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!